Greetings, this is Samir Garati for Baksha Walter on Earth-Based Records and the news program. Today, the topic being worldwide peaceful repatriation. And this is a faith-based sermon, focused on circumstances of the United States in particular, but worldwide with airplanes stranded everywhere. There are, of course, Olympics planned for Winter Olympics for right now in China, but airplanes being stranded and peace efforts with between China and India, Australia, South Korea, North Korea, etc. This is a faith-based perspective on status of individuals. The United States is, of course, primarily a Protestant country. Um, that means most of the Christians in the United States, the denomination is primarily Protestant. The defining characteristic of the Protestant faith, as compared to, uh, other denominations of the Christian faith, is, the individual, the focus on the individual. As far as I know, although I can't, and I don't want to define an entire religion or denomination. I'm just trying to give some basic background, for my talk here. What I can tell you from my personal experience as an immigrant family in the United States, and we're talking about potential repatriation in the Indochina area. Even our former esteemed President Barack Obama has been recently seen in that area, particularly Vietnam. Indo. Greetings. We pick up where we left off here, and we're talking about repatriation. Excuse me. We're talking about repatriation of individuals and families, possibly, and through my own experience. I also might mention that President Trump, our esteemed former president and presidential candidate, also has strong ties to the eastern part of the world, where, of course, my family is from, and also from Queens, New York, where I grew up. What I will tell you in my case, in my family, and growing up, that many members of my family, preferred to go retire possibly back home in India. Barack Obama spends a lot of time, even as president, in Indochina. Now, whether someone like Donald Trump would, and he is a presidential candidate, and I don't want to adversely impact the election. It's very early for it to screw up anybody's election, but I will say whether for the Democrats or the Republicans, talking about 2024, that the and also to our friends in China, uh, that we would prefer a president who wants to retire here at home. I know President Trump has some legal issues, and that might keep him in the United States, and he may have other reasons, and certainly a lot of supporters here at home. And I know that the repatriation from Korea is a long, long process. Like Vietnam, it could take 20 years. And in that regard, maybe President Trump is the right man to get people home to China and India and places in between, such as Malaysia, Indonesia, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam. A lot of our residents came here to the United States during the Korean War, which, hopefully after 70 years is coming to a close. The Vietnam War also brought a lot of residents to the United States. Many of them, let's say half of them, really didn't plan to stay here forever, just hoping to go home from the United States when the war was over or is over. ongoing attempts to go home to that country would just be more recent indicators that people do want to reside in their home country rather than trying to become part of the mixed culture that we have, the blend of different peoples that together define the United States. I am one of those that has long decided since childhood to try to find a way to fit in the United States. I don't think this is an indicator of a particular race, a creed, a religion, a culture, or a person, but rather a decision that an individual makes to try to become American, whatever that might mean. So, in terms of understanding these repatriation efforts, and this can apply in other countries as well, and we saw issues like this in Vietnam, for example, some Americans having families in that area deciding to remain in the Vietnam area. What I'm trying to say in a non judgmental way from a faith perspective, that as we progress forward with no discussion here about recent events regarding war or peace, which are ongoing concerns, that we just want to transition people with their indicator of their post-war preference of where they want to reside, and then to allow our local economies to make these adjustments and to allow those who are trying, and it could be 10 years, could be 20 years, could be 10 days, but whatever it is, we have to make long-term determinations worldwide, whether in Australia, in China, in the United States, uh, or elsewhere in the India, about where are these potential workers, potential business people, potential professionals, potential retirees. Where exactly are they gonna be? When we can move them safely to their preferred location of residence. Now, there are other issues regarding the expiration of the trade pact with China. What I will tell you there is, in line with everybody getting home, the transition away from globalization towards localization in economic and business circles, which is indicated everywhere. It is the desire of China to have a more localized economy. It is the desire of many Americans to have a more localized economy with regards to global trade. This is not necessarily something that requires a conflict, but an understanding that the worldwide trade circles, and especially with Australia being right there in the vicinity of China, that trade worldwide, especially trade that has long been associated with conflict in regards to China, that this will be limited, obviously, as an obvious fact of the of life. The repatriation of people to their homeland is very important to everyone, whether Israel, Palestinians, Americans, Chinese, Australians, Indians, etc. Well, good luck to you on this new year. Happy New Year once again. Smirgardia for Buck Show. Walter on Earth Based Records.